Welcome in, everyone, to another episode of Respect Coin. I am your host, Michael Bolling, and as always, we are presented by 𝗻𝐶𝗰 Chicago Southland. Are you ready for your winning moment? Find it at 𝗻𝐶𝗰 Chicago Southland, where the action never stops. Play the hottest table games, enjoy the newest slots, celebrate big jackpots at 𝗻𝐶𝗰. There's a win around every corner. We have gotten through two games of the NBA Finals, 3 games of the NHL Stanley Cup Final, and things are getting heated up. The two fall and winter sports are coming to a close rapidly. We have the Panthers up 2-1 on the Oilers at home, so that one could get a little interesting. And we have a split 1-1 in the NBA Finals. The Pacers and the Thunder are all knotted up, with Game 3 being Wednesday. Filming this on Tuesday. So Wednesday night is Game 3 in Indianapolis. Really looking forward to that. Here's what we got on today's show, a little rundown. I'm going to go through some of the bigger stories in betting at the moment. I'm going to talk about a player prop that is linked to someone who does not respect coin. So that is coming up. And then I'm going to talk through my process as I build a 5-leg parlay for Game 3. If you're watching this, you'll be able to see me go through some of my tactics, for lack of a better word. But I'm going to get in the lab live on this show to show you how I build some of these parlays. So you'll want to be watching this. If you're listening, I still will be explaining what I'm talking about. So don't fret. If you're listening to the audio version, you won't miss any of the info. But going to use screen share, going to show the process a little bit, show you how the sausage is made. Pause. All right, let's get into it. Game 3 on deck for the NBA Finals. And as I've mentioned before, have a homie, shout out my man Bagel and Locks. He has an 85-1 ticket, $1,000, Pacers to win the finals. Cash out was about 20 grand after Game 1. Not sure what he's thinking right now. I think this Game 3 is going to be very important if the Pacers can win. I think he's probably in a situation where he might leave this bet in. Not sure what the current cash out is right now, but I would have cashed it out after Game 1. This is just my opinion, and I know him well, so I know he's going to be smart about it. Just a lot of money on the table for a $1,000 bet. And yeah, I mean, I do believe that this is going to be a longer series. I don't think that, the Thunder are going to win the next 4 games and end this in 5. But if somebody told me that happened, I wouldn't be too surprised. So definitely a situation where you want to be cautious. Just got to end up leaving with something. So I'm wishing the best for him. As a fan, I do think I'd rather see the Pacers win. I know a lot of people in Indy, a lot of people who really love hoops over there. And I don't know. It's closer to us. As a Bulls fan, it's kind of weird for me to say, but I really do like what the Pacers have done, what they've built. Their players are fun. The team's going to look different next year. There's contract negotiations that have to happen with Miles Turner, Bennedict Mathurin, who I think has been getting less minutes than he should this series, especially with some of the struggles Tyrese Halliburton has had. But a fun team. And I can't say that the Thunder aren't fun also. It's just kind of odd. So I do, as a fan, I would like to see the Pacers win. As a friend, I would like to see my homie win $86,000 off a $1,000 bet. But I'm not necessarily sure that's going to happen. So that's the first story. The second story, there is a bettor who bet $13 on a futures parlay and has the opportunity to win $270,000. He went to last night's Stanley Cup final game in Florida. He obviously needs the Thunder and the Oilers to win. The Thunder tied the series, and the Oilers got absolutely smacked in Florida last night. I believe the final was 6-1. And if you're a hockey person, if you're a hockey bettor, I have had some fun. I hit a parlay and game 1. So that was cool. I don't really know the best ways to bet hockey, so I'm kind of just like spraying the board. I do not encourage this behavior because it's a very easy way to lose your money. But alas, there's the last few games in the hockey season, so I'm going to throw some stuff on it. And these games have been pretty high scoring. Every game's gone over the total, so shots on goal are up, goalie saves are up, all those things. It's really hard to predict goal scorers, but there's a lot of firepower on both sides if you're feeling froggy on that front. So $13 to win 270K. And he said he's not taking it. He said the number that he's trying to win is $270,000. Now down 2-1. I wonder if his tenor changes a little bit. That game was pretty convincing in the Panthers' favor, but if you leave 𝗏𝗏 and McDavid off the score sheet, you probably have a pretty good chance to win. I don't expect that that's going to happen too much in this series. Maybe they figured out a way to kind of neutralize them, or it could just been a flash in the pan and a really bad game for Edmonton. Another thing about Edmonton that kind of gives me pause is they played pretty, I don't know the best word. They were like, it felt like they were salty after they were down like 4-1. They just started taking runs at people, trying to fight. There was a dude spraying water across the bench, trying to, the Panthers were so in their head by the end of that game. So hopefully they can flush it, come out with some new energy in game 4. Everybody in the arena saw that. Everyone in the world watched it last night. There was 140 minutes of penalties, somehow 10-minute misconducts all over the place. So if the Oilers can get their heads back on straight and lock in to just playing hockey and doing the things that they did well in game 1, I think they have a chance to tie this thing back up. It's 2-2-1-1-1, so it will be going back to Edmonton. There's a great deal of travel obviously involved. Those places are far away. So if it's a long series, we'll see what happens. But right now, I don't really love the Oilers as much as I did 24 hours ago. They just looked a little bit out of their element. So if they can lock in, I do think that they need to win game 4. Even though they're going back home, they are really, really good at home. It really is pretty daunting being down 3-1. They've been there before. They were down 3-0 and made they won 3 games in a row and lost in game 7 last year. So it's not like unfamiliar territory, but you're not giving yourself the best chance to advance and close out the series if you end up down 3-1. So we'll see what happens. And I'll continue to check on this bettor who seems to be letting it ride. We'll see what happens if the Panthers win game 4. It's going to be pretty daunting. So those are the 2 biggest stories currently in the betting space. There's a bunch of stuff going on, though. Baseball is hitting into the mid-swing of the season. I think some playoff implications are probably too early to talk about. But when you talk about some of these futures, AL and NL MVP pretty much sewn up. Barring injury, it looks like Aaron Judge and Shohei Ohtani's awards to win. I still have a future on PCA, but I'm looking forward to seeing Matt Shaw continue to grow in his role. It doesn't sound like, or it doesn't look like the Cubs are going to be trying to find help for third base. I think it's Matt Shaw's job to lose. So he's played well. He hit a homer against the Tigers over the weekend in a really high-profile series. So that's only going to help his case as we continue to build it for NL MVP. I don't think anyone's running away with that at the moment. So that's really fun to see. Hopefully we can have a couple more good games that really separate him from the pack and get a little cushion so that we can start to feel really good about that bet. So those are my topics. That is what's going on in betting at the moment. One thing to consider before I get into game 3 for the NBA Finals, training camp will be starting in about a month for NFL. We are going to do tons of preview content. We will talk NFL futures. We will talk Bears futures, season props, all of those things in due time. We have an awesome team at CHSN who will be all over the Bears coverage, so I will get lots of information to help inform some of these bets. So that is coming. Definitely be on the lookout, and we will have plenty of promotion around NFL coverage. It's coming soon. We got the schedules. Training camp opens in a month. Really excited. All right, let's talk some hoops. NBA Finals Game 3. The Thunder are heading to Indianapolis, one of my favorite cities to watch sports, a place where I've watched a lot of winning. Went to a bunch of Big Ten championship games for football. Michigan's run of winning 3 of those was a blast. I think it's one of the most underrated cities for sporting events because everything is very walkable. You've got a dome stadium, so you can play football. You can do Final Fours. I think the Big Ten tournament for basketball and the NCAA tournament is in Indy next year. So really fun city, and I know that they love basketball. State of Indiana loves basketball. 2, the city loves the Pacers, man. I think that there's a lot of people who are probably saying we've overachieved this year, but I know that there's a lot of people who are diehards that really don't want to leave this series saying we had a good season. They want to win it all. You're right here. You're in a 1-1 tie coming home. You did your job on the road. Can you protect home court and win the 2 next games so you can position yourself to win an NBA title? That's what we're looking at. That's what Game 3 is all about for the Pacers. But unfortunately, I have to start this with what I would say is not surprising, but semi-alarming news, and that is Tyrese Halliburton, through 2 games of the NBA Finals, simply just does not respect coin. You might be saying, how on earth could you say that? Let me repeat it. Tyrese Halliburton, through 2 games of the NBA Finals, does not respect coin. Yes, I am aware he hit a game winner, another game winner, to give them the dub in Game 1. But if you watched 47 minutes of that game prior, my man was nowhere to be found. One of the things that frustrates me is, as a fan, I really do feel like people hate on Tyrese way too much. And this is not coming from a place of hating. This is coming from a factual place. Like, if you had props on overs for Tyrese Halliburton in Game 1 and most of them in Game 2, you definitely lost. Like, he has not been coming through on that side. But this isn't all about betting. This is the NBA Finals. They don't care that we're betting. So he was able to help them win in Game 1. Game 2, I felt like he was a no-show. So what do you do from here, right? He's heard the criticism. He's very much online. We know that. And in an effort to not seem like a front runner, like, he's got to step up in Game 3. He has to change how he starts these games. He cannot be absent for the first 3 quarters and then start to take shots in the 4th. Like, the Pacers need his scoring in this series. It's the complete opposite of what 𝗭𝗍 Gilgeous-Alexander is doing. SGA feels like he controls the game from start to finish. Even when he does sit down, it feels like the Thunder can kind of pick up the slack. But when he's back in, the focus is on him. He's distributing. I think he had over 7 assists last game. So if he's not doing it, scoring the basketball, which he's scored, I think, the most points in a finals debut in 2 games. So, like, he's doing it on both sides. Like, I don't think these 2 players are worlds different. Like, I think SGA is a very gifted natural scorer. I think Tyrese Halliburton is much better when he's got 2 feet in the paint where people can collapse. Now you're talking about open up passing lanes that give you allow you to have assists a little more easily. So, yes, I do believe that Tyrese Halliburton has not respected coin to this point, but there's always a way to make up for it as long as you have another game. And good for him. They have another game. It is Wednesday, and it's at home. Tyrese Halliburton is someone that definitely feeds off the crowd. He's a high-energy player, and I think the whole state of Indiana knows how much people have piled on over the last few days. So for my favorite bet, I don't even know if it's right to say favorite bet, but for my most interesting bet in Game 3 that I'm going to give out, it's focused on Tyrese Halliburton. I'm going to bet Tyrese Halliburton to score over 4.5 points in the first quarter. I usually don't bet first quarter props because it is very finicky. If you get in foul trouble, they're definitely going to take you out. But Tyrese is someone who doesn't hack. I think he's going to play a lot differently than he has over the last 2 games. He's going to play with more energy. He has to. He has to get this Pacers team off to a hot start. The Pacers crowd is going to be raucous. We know that. First finals game in Indianapolis in forever. So Tyrese to score 4.5 points simply because of the narrative. He's someone who can score. He's someone who can knock down threes. This is 2 shots potentially. If he gets into the paint, which I think he needs to do, I think an emphasis needs to be put on him getting into the paint. He can knock down some free throws. And it's plus money. So over 4.5 points, I'm going to take you guys into FanDuel. Over 4.5 points right now is plus 124 for Tyrese Halliburton. It's a gamble, right? First quarter bets are very hard to hit. We're flipping a coin basically that he's going to be aggressive, but at plus 124, I feel like there's value there. If you find a minus or you find an over under 3.5, you're probably looking at a minus 120, minus 110. I like the value on over 4.5 for Tyrese Halliburton to make a statement early, hopefully put his team in front early so that they're not playing from behind. We know they can come back, but it's not sustainable. You use so much energy when you're really trying to like claw your way back in the game. So Tyrese Halliburton over 4.5, first quarter points, plus 124. Please respect the coin, man. You are 3 wins away from an NBA Finals, and you are the key to the engine. So I'm expecting big things out of Tyrese Halliburton in Game 3, locking in over 4.5 points in the first quarter for the Pacers' best player. While we're screen sharing, let's get into the parlay build. First and foremost, if you aren't using props.cash, I highly encourage you to get tapped in. It is one of the best tools in the industry. If you use it correctly, it gives you the numbers, the lines, you can get odds movement, you can get all of the data you need if you like to make data-informed bets. So right now, we are looking at Game 3, which is tomorrow. And my process is as such, I don't usually put in long shot parlays, long shot being like 8, 10, 12 legs. It's just really not sustainable. So I usually like to play within the like 4 to 6 legs range. 5 is normally my sweet spot. But one piece of advice, just because you're putting parlays together doesn't mean you have to bet for odds. I know a lot of people who are like, I want to get to 10 to 1, so you continue to add legs to get there. It's really not a sustainable model. You probably have lost a lot of coin if you're betting that way. Find the numbers you like, put those bets together. No need to go overboard. Again, betting parlays is fun, but in the long run, it is not, it's not smart. So this is not me encouraging you to put in 12-leg parlays. Sometimes they hit. If you get lucky, you can do it. But use the data to put together some bets that you really feel confident about. So let's get started. First things first, I really do like making sure I'm focused on the guys who are going to get the most burn, the guys who are going to be out there in the fourth quarter. So you're not really like hoping for rotational advantages. Sometimes there's value in it, especially if there's injuries, but not something that I like in the NBA Finals because they're going to play their best guys unless there's a blowout. So let's go through. We're going to build a 5-legger. We'll see what the odds can be. Really excited about Game 3 in Indy. I think the vibes are going to be immaculate for the Pacers, and hopefully they can get off to a good start. Again, we are already on Tyrese Halliburton over 4.5 first quarter points. So I'm not going to use Tyrese's points in this parlay. I just don't want to double up. I have a weird thing about that because you lose both of those, you're going to feel incredibly terrible. So let's see some points and the difference. A lot of data that you're looking at right now, you can see how many times they've gone over this line in the season, how many times they've gone over the line head-to-head, last 5 games, last 10 games, last 20. And then props.cash has their projections, and you get a little differential here, which is what I like to kind of target. The DVP is, you know, how productive that player is against the defense. So defensive value. So let's look. We've got this ordered as the differential. One of the things that I got on my Instagram story, I asked people for props, was over 10.5 points for Alex Caruso. His line right now is set at 8.5. He's been an absolute X factor for this Thunder team coming off the bench. I'm not going to play it simply because now Alex Caruso, his name is on their scouting report. Can't have that kind of game, score 20 points without them saying we got to put a little more emphasis on AC with the second unit. So I'm leaving that out. One player I do expect to have a big game, especially at home, I'm going down, Pascal Siakam. Now, Pascal Siakam's line right now is set at 19.5 points. That a little bit too rich for me. 18.5, sorry. But when you look at it, his points, one of the things that I find very interesting, and this is glitching, so I'm going to go back. Pascal is really kind of the X factor for this team. Tyrese is the key to the engine. But if Pascal can find some consistency and get some buckets, look at these numbers, right? He's been over 15 points in 10 of his last 10. He's gotten up to 19. He had 31 in the closeout game against the Knicks. But when you look at this, you see this consistent stat line, 15 points. So I'm going to go back to FanDuel and check what the odds are. Let's get Tyrese out of here. Pascal Siakam, alt points. Okay, so him to score 15 points is minus 350. Now, you might be saying this doesn't have extremely good value. His line is set at 18, 19.5. When you're putting together a 5-leg parlay, you need to start with some builders. So I'm not going to take 14.5, but I'm going to take 15.5. It's minus 275. If he gets over that hump of 15 points, gets to 16, gets close to 20, I think that the Pacers are going to be a lot better off in this game, expecting him to bounce back after a tough one last game where he did score 17 points. So nothing too crazy. That's how we get started. He had 15 last game. So one more point than last game. So I like that one to get started. All right, so we're good on points. I don't like to double up a ton, but if I was looking at something for the Thunder, I think Isaiah Hartenstein played pretty well last game. They did give him some more minutes, so a lot of things to consider. Let's move into assists, which is where I think we're going to find some value with one of the best players in this series. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, diamond people up last game, 8 assists. He's had at least 8 in 3 of his last 4, 4 of his last 6. This is what you're looking at here. And over 7.5 assists is plus 110. Again, you don't have to bet the base. All of these sports books have alternate lines. So let's go over to assists. And I do think this is a really good spot for SGA. I think on the road, the Pacers are going to make things a little more difficult for him to score. I don't know if that's the best game plan. Like, if I were Rick Carlisle, I would be trying to get him to score 50 points and not have anyone else beat them. But the Thunder are so deep and they are so good with their players off the bench, their players in the second unit. So SGA, alt assists, you can get over 5.5 at minus 340. Let's see what that does for our odds. So 2 legs, minus 130. I don't hate that. I don't want to go too much higher than that because if Rick Carlisle does what I think he should do, which is like let SGA get 50 and hope that the rest of the guys don't score that much, you don't want to be cooked with this number. So over 5.5 props.cash allows you to alt the lines here so you can see how many times he's gone over this number. And if you're looking at this model right here, he's gone at least 6 assists in 8 of his last 10 games. I like that trend for game 3. All right, we've got an assist number in there. Let's check boards, which is a very interesting prop for this series. Both teams don't rebound very well. You have seen some rebounding from the Thunder that I think is very interesting in this. And I mentioned Isaiah Hartenstein in the game before. But one of the things that I'm worried about for Hartenstein is if Mark Daigneault decides that he doesn't want to play that big lineup again, which was effective, you're probably not going to get that many minutes out of Hartenstein. So let's look at his numbers. This has assists. I need to be in rebounds. Okay, so he's had 8 assists or 8 rebounds and 9 rebounds in his last 2. And then prior to that, he wasn't really pulling him down too much. So the number that I'm looking at when I alt this down, 6 boards at least, or over 5.5. He's hit that in 8 of 10. He's had at least 5 in every game. So let's check the odds. Isaiah Hartenstein, who may not start the game, but he did finish. Let's go to rebounds. 6 boards for Isaiah Hartenstein is -235, and I do think that there's some value there. So now this is looking like a play that, you might be saying, why is there 3 legs and only +154? 2 more legs added to this will put you in a position where you're feeling like you're getting some value and you're winning some bucks. So Hartenstein to have 6 boards, I like that. For game 3, I do think he's going to be a factor. And the rebounding on the Pacers side has been very shaky at best. So one of the bigger guys, one of the more active guys on the glass, Isaiah Hartenstein, as long as he gets the minutes that he's used to, he should be able to pull down 6 boards. Here's where we boost the value. 2 legs left. Made threes is how you boost the value. Obviously, a very finicky player prop. You have to get makes. You have to target volume. Guys who are putting up shots with frequency. So let's go back to props.cash and see what this model thinks for threes. 3-pointers made. Aaron Wiggins had a good game. Lou Dort has been pretty damn good for the Thunder. The only thing that worries me about Lou Dort is he shoots way better at home than on the road. So I may leave him out. Jalen Williams, someone who does knock down shots, has not been very hot from 3 recently. I don't know why this is still on rebounds. Jalen Williams to make 2 threes. He hasn't hit the number in his last 3 games. But the game he did, he had 6 against the Timberwolves, 2 and 2. So there is consistency there. This is a situation where I do feel like there's probably some value in buying the dip, but I'm going to leave it alone. Again, road team, raucous crowd, who I am going to target, though, one of the better shooters in this series. His line is a little inflated. Aaron Nesmith to make 3 threes is +124 right now. Maybe don't necessarily need to go that high, but one of the better shooters for the Pacers. He does get a lot of shots up. Let's check what the value is for 2. Another -235. That puts us close to 3-1 for Nesmith to knock down 2 threes. I don't hate this play so far. I'm not going to add more legs than just 5 just for the sake of it, because I do feel like these are really solid plays that we like. Another person I considered potentially was Miles Turner. Let's take a look, because he definitely shoots better at home. He's knocked down at least 1 in all of his games in the last 10. In terms of volume, I do feel like he does get a few of them up, but it's not the value you would want for someone who's potentially needing to make 2, especially from the center position. He's made it in 2 of his last 3. I understand that. He did have some volume. Maybe I just talked myself out of Nesmith. Maybe I shouldn't, but let's just check what the value is. So Miles Turner to knock down 2 threes puts you at 4-1. Should we gamble? Could this be the part of the movie where I lose all my money? Let's have some fun. It's game 3. We're going to lock in Miles Turner to knock down 2 threes. I'm probably going to end up regretting that, but for the sake of this, we want to win some cash. Let's do it. So Miles Turner knocked down 2 threes. We have 4 legs currently at +374. We have Pascal Siakam to score 15.5 points. SGA to have over 5.5 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein to grab 6 boards, and Miles Turner to make 2 threes with 1 leg left. We do not have to overthink this too much. But let's go back and see what are some of the more valuable props according to props.cash. Is there more value on threes? Let's see. Should we add Lou Dort 1-3? Should we add Jalen Williams 1-3? He has made at least 1-3 in 9 of his last 10. Let's go for a little layup leg. Let's see what Jalen Williams does for us. Plus 450 for him to make 1. 5 legs, 4.5 to 1. I'm going to pass. Let's see what else we can get here. Knock down 1-3. Can we get somebody to knock down 1-3? SGA. He's been shooting with some more volume. Same odds. All right, maybe we'll pass on that. What about the others? We have Nesmith. All right, I'm going to give my guy some love. Alex Caruso has knocked down at least 1-3 in 9 of his last 10. You see the numbers here. Someone in my Instagram story hit me up and said over 8.5 or over an 11.5 points. I don't really love that because I don't know that he's going to have that big a game again, but he does get looks with that second unit. So I'm going to lock in Alex Caruso to make 1-3, and we have our bet. 5 legs. Let's go through it. 5-leg parlay. We have Pascal Siakam to score over 15.5 points. SGA over 5.5 assists. Isaiah Hartenstein to grab 6 boards. Miles Turner to knock down 2 threes at home. And Alex Caruso to knock down 1-3. 5 legs, NBA Finals, Game 5, plus 473. I like this for a few reasons. I think we've spread the ball around. We are already on Tyrese Halliburton to have over 4.5 points in the first quarter at plus money. So 5 legs, plus 473 on FanDuel. This is a bet that I do like. This is a bet that I will be placing as soon as this stream is over because I do think Game 3 of the Finals is going to be really fun. We didn't over-index on one team. We have 3 legs from the Thunder, 2 legs from the Pacers, and these guys should get a great amount of run. The only one that worries me a little bit is Miles Turner. He will have the 3-point volume. Hopefully he can knock down his first shot, but he played really well quietly in Game 2. I think he's going to continue to build off that, and Pacers are considering getting him an extension, so he is playing for something, trying to prove himself. 5 legs, plus 473. Siakam over 15.5 points. SGA over 5.5 assists. Hartenstein, 6 boards. Miles Turner, 2 threes. Alex Caruso, 2 threes. Lock it in for NBA Finals Game 3. So here we have it. We have our bet. We have our plays. And that's what we got. A lot of fun building that. We'll do more of that content. Hopefully going to have a chance to do some more watch-along content here pretty soon. But I'm feeling good about the bets we have. Just to recap, we have the 5-leg plus 473. We are on Tyrese Halliburton to score more than 4.5 points in that first quarter. And hopefully we can win some money for NBA Finals Game 3. Keep it locked. We'll have more plays for Game 4. That is Friday. But as always, I'm your host, Michael Bolling. And hopefully we can win some money. Always respect the coin. Tyrese Halliburton. Respect some damn coin, man. Series is on the line. Finals is on the line. Put on for Indianapolis. Until Game 4, I'm out of here, y'all. Peace.